Welcome to this special episode of Healing Conversations, brought to you by AcousticHealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey. Today we are taking a moment to learn about Metatronia Therapy and a higher vibration that is now available to humanity. That's because we have cleared so many lower density frequencies that we can now link up with higher frequencies. Those who have been working with this higher frequency are using it in their own lives as well as in healing practices. No matter how you choose to use it, it is wonderful to experience. Tammy, welcome to this healing conversation.
Hi Lauren, it's good to hear your voice again. You have such a lovely vibration, if I may say so. With this energy, it's we say it time and time again. It's unique for each individual, but the collective vibration goes straight and begins to work automatically with mankind, right into his DNA, right into what we class as the cells, the muscles, the tendons, but most of all into the consciousness. So we're rising in our consciousness as we connect to this vibration. The level of surrender is very poignant with this process because that surrender allows us to come out of the controls and the old ways of being, the old paradigm. I think people use that term sometimes. I'm not too clued up with all these terms, but basically this vibration is very swift in how it helps us on our ascension and alignment process. And the alignment process is very key because what we're opening up to now is how important our vibration is. And Metatronia Therapy works right into those vibrationary codings of light to align us and uplift us and move us to where we're meant to be, which is just the divine truth vibration. Metatron is not very vocal. It's more sensing and feeling, and so this vibration is very much about being still and silent and allowing the process of feeling and sensing what's occurring. We might never fully understand what's occurring, but what we find with people that have been attuned to this vibration is over a time span of a few weeks going into a few months, they look back and begin to realize from the feedback that we get, things have greatly shifted for them, not only in their consciousness vibration, but in their personal life, their work life, financial. The whole aspect of that being's life has been touched by Source.
I know so many are ready for that. Touched by Source. All right. Thank you. We'll enjoy the show.
We'll get right into it. This started about 3 weeks ago. I just kept having order through chaos coming through to my mind. And I realized that whenever I have moments like this, it's time to do a webinar on it. So I've put together a lot of information that's kind of just fell in my lap, if you like. So it's quite interesting. I hope you're going to enjoy it. We're going to do a bit later on with some healing and connection right towards the end. But I'm just going to talk for a while for the majority of this webinar. Let's go. So in the beginning, when the secret of secrets wished to reveal himself, he began to produce a point of light. Before that point of light broke through and became apparent, the infinite on Soph was entirely hidden and radiated no light. Some of these slides I'm going to show you are going to be on the recording, so whatever you gather from this evening vibrationally and through me speaking to you through transmissions, however they come to you, you'll be able to look at it later and perhaps delve into it a little bit more, what catches your eye or resonates for you. Interpretations. Through time, there have been many interpretations of order through chaos and endeavouring to fathom the great secret and works of the One. What is it we seek to find and have done so throughout the ages? A few of those interpretations are shown here for your own discernment. If we look closely enough, we can begin to see a pattern that emerges through the different angles and beliefs through time and consciousness of the knowledge and interpretation of a higher order. There have been many ways of understanding and interpretation, and this continues. We are being shown through Source and Unity how simple it is to bring order through chaos on a vibrational level and as it relates to human beings and on a universal scale. Thoth. Thoth is one of the main guides to Metatronia Therapy, and so I like to place his works and words here, his vibration for us this evening. The Emerald Tablets, Tablet 8, the Key of Mysteries. So listen to the words that I'm speaking about, and they'll go inside within you to the subconscious, to the light codings within, and they'll begin to, over the next coming weeks and months, unravel something quite delightful within you. So this is all about codings this evening. Man is in the process of changing to forms that are not of this world. Grows he in time to the formless, a plane on the cycle above. Know you, you must become formless before you are one with the light. Listen, you, O man, to my voice, telling of pathways to light, showing the way of attainment when you shall be one with the light. Search you the mysteries of earth's heart. Learn of the law that exists, holding the stars in their balance by the force of the primordial mist. Seek you the flame of the earth's life. Bathe in the glare of its flame. Follow the three-cornered pathway until you too are to flame. Wisdom is hidden in darkness, when lit by the flame of the soul. Find you the wisdom and be light-born, a son of the light without form. Seek you ever more wisdom. Find it in the heart of the flame. Know that only by striving can light pour into your brain. No, now have I spoken with wisdom. Listen to my voice and obey. Tear open the veils of the darkness, shine a light on the way. Entered I my body, created the circles that know not angles, created the form that from my form was formed, made my body into a circle and lost the pursuers in the circles of time. But even yet, when free from my body, cautious ever must I be not to move through angles, else my soul might never be free. The beautiful orderliness of the universe is not only the manifestation of intellect, it is also the model for rational souls to understand and to emulate such understanding, and emulation restores those souls to their original state of excellence, a state that was lost in their embodiment. There is, then, an explicit ethical and religious dimension to the discourse. Plato's Timaeus. Again with Plato's Timaeus, the world's body is composed of fire for visibility and earth for tangibility, but these so-called elements require the mediation of air and water in a progression of proportion to bind them together into a unified concordant whole. Please bear with me with these. They may seem a bit in-depth and out there, but they're going to bring you understanding. The shape of the universe body and the characteristics it possesses or lacks are all explained in terms of their various purposes. The composition of the world's soul out of harmonically proportionate series of portions of a mixture of both divisible and indivisible sameness, difference and being, and the division of these portions into two intersecting circles of the same and of the different, explain the cognitive powers of the soul in relation to the different types of objects of cognition, those that are and those that become. When joined with the world's bodies, they also explain the cosmological organization of the universe. The heavenly bodies are divine and move in their various orbits to serve as markers of time. The fixed stars to mark a day, night, the moon to mark the lunar, the month, and the sun to mark the year. Time itself came into being with these celestial movements as an image of eternity. Individual souls are made up of the residue and an inferior grade of the soul stuff of the universe, and are eventually embodied in physical bodies. This embodiment throws the previously regular motions of the soul into confusion, as the soul is subjected to the forceful disturbances of internal bodily processes, as well as the impact of external bodies upon it, particularly in sense experience. These disturbances gravely impair the soul's cognitive functioning. Only with appropriate nurture and education can its original motions be re-established and proper cognitive functioning be restored. Nova Veritas Universalis, again Plato. If you just look at these images, you begin to see sacred geometry, sacred form, divine order, creation itself. First of all, he took away one part of the whole, and then he separated a second part which was double the first, 2. And then he took away a third part which was half as much again of the second and 3 times as much as the first. And then he took a fourth part which was twice as much as the second, and a fifth part which was 3 times the third, and a sixth part which was 8 times the first, and a seventh part which was 27 times the first. So perhaps you can explore this after the webinar when you have time. But to me, this explanation of the Creator and the creation of life itself and the universe comes right down into our own DNA and the cells and the multiplication of cells to make a life. It's all connected. Plato's categorical system. So if you just take a look at this just for a moment, you will get the recording so you can go into this in detail when you have more time. All that is visible and truth. Objects, plants, animals, nature, artifacts, tangible things. Intelligible, images, shadows, reflections, opinions, hypotheses, hearsay if you like. Visible is explicit, self-revealing, immanent, commonly perceived, intuited, superficial. Intelligible transcends appearances, implicit application of effort to see facts. So Plato teaches us, focus on that which remains outside the sphere of human influence and inside the sphere of human experience. So live outside the box. As you ascend, you learn to transcend beliefs and controls and behaviors, to see the divine truth that's around and within you. So when something's placed before you as truth, use your discernment and don't stop the looking, just use your discernment in all ways. In the primeval dwell 3 unities. Other than these, none can exist. These are the equilibrium source of creation. One God, one truth, one point of freedom. Again, Thoth, or Toth, however you wish to pronounce. 3 are the circle states of existence. The circle of light where dwells nothing but God, and only God can transverse it. The circle of chaos where all things by nature arise from death. The circle of awareness where all things spring from life. Seek not the kingdom of shadows, for evil will surely appear. For only the master of brightness shall conquer the shadow of fear. Know ye, O my brother, that fear is an obstacle great. Be master of all in the brightness, the shadow will soon disappear. Hear ye and heed my wisdom, the voice of light is clear. Seek not the valley of shadow, and light will only appear. The soul of man moves ever onward, bound not by any one star, but ever moving to the great goal before him, where he is dissolved in the light of the all. Know ye that ye shall ever go onward, moved by the law of cause and effect, until in the end both become one. Hermes Trismegistus. It is true without any error, and it is the sum of truth. That which is above is also that which is below. For the performance of the wonders of a certain one thing, and as all things arise from one stone, so also they were generated from one common substance, which includes the 4 elements created by God. And among other miracles, the said stone is born of the first matter. The sun is its father, the moon its mother, the wind bears it in its womb, and it is nursed by the earth. Itself is the father of the whole earth, and the whole potency thereof. If it be transmuted into earth, then the earth separates from the fire that which is most subtle from that which is hard, operating gently and with great artifice. Then the stone ascends from earth to heaven, and again descends from heaven to earth, and receives the choicest influences of both heaven and earth. If you can perform this, you have the glory of the world, and are able to put to flight all diseases, and to transmute all metals. It overcomes Mercury, which is subtle and penetrates all hard and solid bodies. Hence it is compared with the world. Hence I am called Hermes, having the three parts of the whole word of philosophy. And if I may at this point just briefly, many of these wonderful masters and philosophers talked in riddles for us not to look at the materialistic values of their speech, but to look beyond and behind what it is they are calling and shouting to us in keys and in light coding. You are the stone. You are beyond all measure. And you are at one with the universe. You can have all the glory of the world. And you can transcend all chaos and disorder if you turn to the light within. There is one, even the first, who hath no beginning, who hath no end, who hath made all things, who govern all, who is good, who is just, who illumines, who sustains. There is but one. The Emerald Tablets again. Three is a mystery come from the Great One. Hear and light on thee will dawn. In the primeval dwell three unities. Other than these none can exist. These are the equilibrium source of creation. One God, one truth, one point of freedom. Three comes forth from the three of the balance. All life, all good, all power. Three are the qualities of God in his light home. Infinite power, infinite wisdom, infinite love. Three are the circles or states of his existence. The circle of light where dwells nothing but God, and only God can traverse it. The circle of chaos where all things by nature arise from death. The circle of awareness where all things spring from life. All things animate are of three states of existence: chaos or death, liberty in humanity, and felicity of heaven. I love this. There is no thing in nature created or born that does not reveal its inner form outwardly as well, for the internal always works towards revelation, as we can see and recognize in creatures and trees and plants. Thus in the signature there lies great understanding, in which man not only comes to know himself, but he may also learn to recognize the essence of all beings. Zosimos of Panopolis. The inner process of purification and redemption. The symbol of chemistry is drawn from the creation by its adepts, who cleanse and save the divine soul bound in the elements, and who free the divine spirit from its mixture with the flesh. As the sun is, so to speak, a flower of the fire, and simultaneously the heavenly sun, the right eye of the world, so copper when it blooms, that is when it takes the colour of gold, through purification, becomes a terrestrial sun, which is king of the earth, as the sun is king of heaven. Back in these times they talked through coding, and you are the sun, you are the flower, and you are the king of earth, as the sun is the king of heaven. This is all within you. It all begins to blossom within you when there is order, divine order, through light. Nicholas of Corsa. Rise and fall, evolution and involution are one and the same. The progress of the one is the retreat of the other. God is in the world is just as valid as the world is in God. Whatever is not truth cannot measure truth precisely. By comparison, A non-circle cannot measure a circle whose being is something indivisible. Hence the intellect, which is not truth, never comprehends truth so precisely that truth cannot be comprehended infinitely more precisely. Some of these you're going to have to read over again to yourself to gather some understanding. For the intellect is so truth as an inscribed polygon is to the inscribing circle. The more angles the inscribed polygon has, the more similar it is to the circle. However, even if the number of its angles is increased ad infinitum, the polygon never becomes equal to the circle unless it is resolved into an identity within the circle. So every spirit comes to rest if only it feels elevated in the admitted manner of its species to equality with the infinite. Equality with the infinite. Even through the divine precision remains always unattained. This and infinitely many other things you can make clear to yourself. May it suffice to have thus treated the foregoing. Amen. Therefore, one motion cannot be equal to another, nor can one motion be the measure of another, since necessarily the measure and the thing measured differ, and with regard to motion, we do not come to an unqualified minimum. If we can fully attain unto this knowledge or our ignorance, we will attain unto learned ignorance. The more he knows that he is unknowing, the more learned he will be. Surrender. We must leave behind the things which, together with their material associations, are attained through the senses, through the imagination, or through reason. Leave them behind, so that we may arrive at the most simple and most abstract understanding, where all things are one, where a line is a triangle, a circle and a sphere, where oneness is threeness, and conversely, where accident is substance, where body is mind spiritus, where motion is rest, and other such things. The measure with which man strives for the inquiry of truth has no rational proportion to truth itself, and consequently the person who is contented on the side of precision does not perceive the error, and therein do men differentiate themselves. These boast to have advanced to the complete precision, whose unattainability to the wise recognize, so that those are the wiser who know of their ignorance. Marvelous is this work of God, in which the discriminative power ascends stepwise from the center of the senses up to the supreme intellectual nature, in which the ligaments of the most subtle corporeal spirit are constantly illuminated and simplified, on account of the victory of the power of the soul, until one reaches the inner cell of rational power, as if by way of the brook to the unbounded sea, where we conjecture there are choirs of knowledge, intelligence, and the simplest intellectuality. Since the unity of humanity is contracted in a human way, it seems to enfold everything according to the nature of this contraction. For the power of its unity embraces the universe and encloses it inside the boundaries of its region, such that nothing of all its potentiality escapes. Man is indeed God, but not absolutely, since he is man. He is therefore a human God. Man is also the world, but not everything contractedly, since he is man. Man is therefore a microcosm, or a human world. Nicholas of Causa sought to demonstrate that the creator of the universe was not something able to be reduced to a particular metaphor or described, but only known inconceivably by the mind of man, and that all knowledge sought and captured by man came from seeking after this knowledge of the creator. Causa investigated the nature of such a universe, that which he calls a contracted maximum, as the medium between the absolute infinite and the plurality of finite things. Paracelsus: the sky is a shell which separates the world and God's heaven from one another, as does the shell the egg. The egg represents the lower sphere, the white the upper, the yolk earth and water, the white air and fire. In 1678, a German scholar, Athanasius Kircher, depicted the most advanced thinking of his day. Earth's interior was supposed to contain a giant fiery inferno. The fires heated water that had seeped in from the ocean and gave rise to hot springs, where tongues of fire came close to Earth's surface. They started volcanoes. So many, many years ago, people were beginning to understand and bring their own interpretation of order and what the world and universe were about. A lot of it's metaphors and guessing, but a lot of it comes to the same, not conclusion, but the same kind of results. Philosopher's compass. The philosopher's compass between the magnetic poles of the work, symbolized here as the two Masonic columns of Solomon's temple. Joachim male, upper fire, Esh, and lower air. Boaz feminine, upper water, Mayim, and lower earth. These produce the lapis. It joins the powers of the upper planets and the lower. The materials in the work: tartar, sulfur, sol, ammoniac, vitriol, saltpeter, alum, and in the center, antimony. The Tachinine source material, said to be the greatest poison and the supreme medicine. Its symbol is the imperial orb. And back in this time, again, they talked through codes. The more you look at materials and decipher, these things that they mention are all pointing to, you can call it the primordial mist or source or light. They're talking through coding to assist us many, many years ago, even up to now, through understanding about the light infinite. And back in those days, they had limited understanding, and so a lot of the philosophers worked with what they understood at that time. And when we look back hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years ago as to where we are today with these teachings from past masters, there becomes an understanding of what they were aiming at and what they could understand at that level from where they were back then. And it's such a beautiful, beautiful journey. I know some of this webinar might be a bit out there for you, but with looking back at it and understanding, you'll begin to get to a place where you understand from a deeper level, a higher conscious level. It's also very simple. William Blake. The nature of infinity is this, that everything has its own vortex, and when once a traveller through eternity has passed through that vortex, he perceives it roll backward behind his path into a globe itself, unfolding like a sun, or like a moon, or like a universe of starry majesty, while he keeps onward in his wondrous journey on the earth, or like a human form, a friend with whom he lived benevolent, as the eye of man views both the east and west, encompassing its vortex, and the north and south with all their starry hosts. Also the rising sun and setting moon he views, surrounding his cornfields and his valleys of 500 acres squares. Thus is the earth one infinite plain, and not as apparent to the weak traveller, confined beneath the moony shade. Thus is the heaven a vortex past already, and the earth a vortex not yet passed by the traveller through eternity. Man's body is fine or coarse in its texture, according to the materials drawn from the physical plane for its composition. Compare the bodies of a butcher and a refined student, and all things live in rhythmically vibrations. Hence, if a body changes its rate of vibration, it gradually drives out of it the constituents that cannot fall into the new rhythm, and fills up their places with fresh constituents that are harmonious by his thoughts. He strikes the keynote of this music and sets up the rhythm that are the most powerful factors in the continual changes in his physical and other bodies. The whole process of the philosophical work is nothing but that of dissolving and making hard again, namely dissolving the body and making hard the spirit. Mankind cannot ascend in the current mindset and with the current burdens that he carries along in his emotional and mental body. In order to ascend the current limited and lower consciousness existence, man must be lifted into a state of altered higher consciousness through energetic and vibrational alignment and awakening mechanisms, so that he has literally become one with the light, the 0 point, the zero vibration matching like with like, as above so below, These energetic light codings are available to mankind at this time, as they have always been, for those that so choose and wish to ascend. The key lies in the conscious expansion and surrendering of old ways, to work in line and in unison with the surrendering mechanisms in order to reach at one-ment with the vibration of the One. This is the master key to ascension. Opus Magnum. In reference to the divine work of creation and the plan of salvation within it, the alchemistic process was called the Great Work. In it, a mysterious chaotic source material called Materia Prima, containing opposites still incompatible and in the most violent conflict, is gradually guided towards a redeemed state of perfect harmony. The healing philosopher's stone, or lapis philosophorum. First we bring together, then we putrefy. We break down what has been putrefied. We purify the divided. We unite the purified and harden it. In this way is one made from man and woman. And don't look at this to look at chemistries and things like that. This is simple coding. It's simple words that are explaining how man works with light and connects with light, to purify, to become gold like the sun, to become one with the light. It's intriguing stuff. When you read these old books and you begin to piece together, it's intriguing stuff. The Philosopher's Stone is made in the image of the creation of the world, for one must have its chaos and its prime matter, in which the elements float hither and thither, all mixed together until they are separated by the fiery spirit. And when this has happened, the light is lifted up, while the heavy is brought downwards. Again, back in those days, some over 200 years ago, they're talking about vibration. It will be apparent that it is difficult to discern which properties each thing possesses in reality. That which lives on reason lives against the spirit. Anyone who inadvertently enters the linguistic arena will suddenly find himself in a chaotic system of references, a network of constantly changing code names and symbols for arcane substances, in which everything can always apparently mean everything else, and in which even specialists, Baroque dictionaries, and modern lists of synonyms provide few clues. This kind of profusion of diffuse concepts always requires simplifying measures. The light is simplicity. All matter originates and exists only by virtue of a force which brings a particle of an atom to vibration and holds this most minute solar system of the atom together. We must assume behind this force the existence of a conscious and intelligent mind. This mind is a matrix of all matter. Geometry is one and eternal, a reflection out of the mind of God, that mankind shares in it, the one of the reasons to call man an image of God. Just as this is a confirmation from the harmonic proportions of the circle, as the subject and the source of their terms, equally it is the strongest possible argument for abstraction, as the suggestion of the divinity of the mind exists. In a circle abstracted from corporeal and sensible things to the same extent as concepts of the curved, the symbol of the mind are separated and, so to speak, abstracted from the straight, the shadow of bodies. Ascend now to the recognition that the maximum, most precise harmony is an equality of comparative relation, which a living and bodily man cannot hear. For since this harmony is every proportion, ratio, it would attract to itself our soul's reason, just as infinite light attracts all light, so that the soul, freed from perceptible objects, would not, without rapture, hear with the intellect's ear this supremely concordant harmony. A certain immensely pleasant contemplation could here be engaged in, not only regarding the immortality of our intellectual, rational spirit, which harbours in its nature incorruptible reason, through which the mind attains of itself to the concordant and the discordant likeness in musical things, but also regarding the eternal joy into which the blessed are conducted, once they are freed from the things of this world. To take a moment just to look and view at this shape, remembering the shape and the divine geometries and the divine order, and contemplation after the webinar of why everything stems from sacred geometry, because of such order and such divinity is all things created. All in divine order, from a divine cell to the great universe above. Planetary order. Just wanted to show this small video. Planetary Motion from Exodus to Copernicus by Mogi Massimo Vicentini. Explains emotions and the order within the universe. So just watch that for a few moments. Divine balance. Divine order. As if something has set that order. As if something has set that divinity in all things, that divine order through chaos, through all the systems that exist in the universe. There lies behind it divine order, a great plan, a great light, the Creator. So just watch for a few moments. Everything in order. And whatever's occurring doesn't occur because of the constraints of man and the minds of men. It occurs outside of the thoughts of man. It is the vastness, the eternity, which we are all part of. And if we start with a fragile state, when we look at the divine order that's placed before us, we can begin the great path of ascension and healing within ourselves, our fragility, to expand ourselves into the cosmos, to expand ourselves to that truth of the divine plan and divine order that exists within everything. To come out of the mind and the fragilities. Mankind must move with his ascension into his expansion. It's all around us. Through the early astronomers took on Earth, So the early astronomers took on a centric view of the heavens. Italian graphic designer Moghi put the viewer at the centre of a sweeping story of planetary motion. Planets rotate, oscillate, and appear to move backwards as faulty ideas are rejected until their motion is most satisfactorily explained by Copernicus and Kepler's heliocentric model. The testimony of the ages confirms that the motions of the planets are orbicular. It is an immediate presumption of reason reflected in experience that their gyrations are perfect circles. For among figures it is circles, and among bodies the heavens, that are considered the most perfect. However, when experience is seen to teach something different to those who pay careful attention, namely that the planets deviate from simple circular paths, it gives rise to a powerful sense of wonder, which at length drives men to look into causes. Everything works to divine order, a divine plan, bringing order through chaos throughout the universe as all works in unison. Oscillation, pulsation, vibration, waves. Call it the primordial mist. Positive motion, ever forward expansion. Equilibrium, balance, harmony and order. Alignment with source through vibration. Universal spheres, working for, not against. Harmony of the spheres. The more we pull against something and bring resistance, the more we pull away from our ascension path. It's all about working to that alignment process, working to that divine order within ourselves, bringing that order through chaos within ourselves, what we may feel, to expand our consciousness outside of linear. Our vital energy is a constant moving, pulsating and oscillating rhythm of waves of divine source vibration. Everything that resides within the universe exists because of source vibration. Call it the primordial mist, the unseen but very much real, the conscious creative vibration. This is the elixir of man. This is what creates the vessel, grows the form, beats the heart, grows the flowers, sends the rain, creates the lightning, all things at our source. Source is evolution, vibration, and man is beginning to understand more and more of his light evolutionary process. We move in waves and pulsations, in a positive, ever forward moving motion and vibration. This is the order of the universal spheres, the creator source vibration. This brings order to chaos. This brings order through chaos for all things within the universe and the universe itself. I included this gyroscope. Look at the center point. And perhaps use this for the physical vessel, the emotional vessel, the mental vessel, whatever's going on around us. We stay steadfast in our resolve and dedicated to our point of light. Because the world is growing and evolving into light vibration. And there may come much chaos as this light again is embedding on earth into the hearts and minds of men. And through that chaos we must remain steadfast in our truth. Oscillation is repetitive variation, typically in time of some measure about a central valve, often a point of equilibrium, or between two or more different states. Familiar examples include a swinging pendulum and alternating current power. So we may teeter, we may oscillate back and forth, but ultimately, the design of the spheres of universal divinity and order, we are programmed to move ever forward. We are programmed to move positively forward. I wanted to include this by Valerie Farber regarding entropic versus centropic. The universal force of creation answers your summoning every time you are answered. The universal force of creation serves you. It serves all without judgment. The force is miraculous. What are the controls on this? What is there to keep the balance? That which is made without utilization of resonance with the infinite patterns of frequency and vibration are subject to degeneration and decay. They are highly entropic. That is, unless they are repatterned and realigned at some point to the infinite patterns of source frequency and vibration, that which is summoned by the creative force from a frequency and vibration in alignment with the sacred geometric and harmonic tones, frequency and vibration, are the creations which are everlasting and feel good. The reason they feel good is because they are in alignment with the infinite patterns of your essence. They are everlasting as you are, and they vibrate in accordance with patterns such as a Fibonacci sequence of phi or pi. The infinite patterns, they are centropic, they are subject to creative renewals. So as to the boundaries about the non-judgment of the summoning of the universal creative force, the balance lies in just that. The centropic creations that have resonance with the infinite patterns are eternal, whereas the entropic are not. This repatterning is occurring within the very DNA of man. The entropic patterns are being repatterned to centropic. This is occurring on the micro and macro levels of our dimensional space. We are shifting from entropic to centropic. This is occurring within and without. Eventually, as we cross the threshold into the centropic photonic light belt, the regenerative light will regenerate the vessel at will, and the light body will become primary, as the light body is centropic and is the body immortal. I have memories from Poseida, says Valerie, following the Atlantean deluge, and while I was in pure light body form, most others at the time were not, and had already shifted into the dense corporeal form, if you like. I believe that this is perfectly possible and feasible, that we may enter a time where we begin to witness this gradual transition where some, they perhaps very few, choose for this. This then gains quantum momentum as more and more of us align. There is force in the universe, which, if we permit it, will flow through us and produce miraculous results. Man's very form exists purely through the light of the Creator, and thus his journey and design is to return and align within himself to the vibration of his Maker. To embark on this path and to open to this divine truth is in itself the greatest journey man can achieve. Ascension is light evolution. There is a force within the universe, the creator life force, primordial mist, source vibration, call it what you will. Many names it may have, but it is ultimately source vibration. This vibration is what creates, nourishes and feeds the very heart of all matter, within and without the universe. As we as human beings experience a greater surrender and conscious connection to this force, there is a cleansing and clearing realignment period where that which no longer serves is released. This is attunement, attainment with the light, at one-ment with the light. We begin to live in unison once again with the universal spheres, the plan, divine order and calibration of all that is, in an eternal, never-ending spiral of divine harmonics. This energetic order realignment is experienced through rapid vibrational shifting, emotional release and energetic recalibration. This light serves to show us the chaos within the physical vessel and bring it into line with the universal and divine order. Whether we wish to believe or not, there is a universal divine order in place to which everything is part and to which the light is now open to us, for us to experience alignment and integration of our true form and nature and essence. We are part of all things, everlasting, eternal beings. The corporeal physical form is here to serve the ascension journey into ultimate divine truth. The key to man's salvation is in the rising of his vibration. Some scientists have claimed that and taught that planets collide in space. No such thing is possible. To do so would be to throw the entire scheme of creation into chaos. It really is fortunate indeed that the mighty laws of God are not limited to the opinions of some of the children of Earth. It does not matter what any scientist, mundane or otherwise, thinks. God creation is ever moving forward and expressing more and more perfection. Godfrey Ray King. Destructive thought and discordant feeling so rearrange the ratio and rate of speed of the electrons within the atom that the duration of the breath of God within the pole is changed. The duration of the breath is decreed by the will of the consciousness using that particular kind of atom. If that conscious directing will is withdrawn, the electrons lose their polarity and fly apart, seeking their way back, intelligently, mind you, to the great central sun, repolarizing themselves. There they receive love only. The breath of God is never ending, and order, the first law, is eternally maintained. That speaks in volumes. That tells us so much about vibrational patterning and conscious shifting. The great immutable decrees which forever keeps order in the infinite realms of manifested life are all based upon the one great principle of creation, love. That is the heart, the source of all, and the very hub upon which existence in form takes place. The Magic Presence by Chanira. I am the Presence, the Eternal One. I am the God Source, the Great Central Sun. I am the love breath, the heartbeat of light. I am the power in wisdom and might. I am the seer, the all-seeing eye. I am the sunlight, the earth and the sky. I am the mountain, the ocean, the stream. I am the quiver in the morning's bright gleam. I am the blessing in angels and love. I am the life flowing in round above. I am the glory of all had once in me. I am the light rays that set mankind free. I am the one heart that hears every call. I am the legion of light answering all. I am the sceptre of light's loving power. I am the master each moment, each hour. I am the spheres, every song that they sing. I am the heart of creation, its wing. I am all forms, never two quite the same. I am the essence, the will and the flame. I am myself, all beings, and you. I am the magic presence, the God self come through. The key is in the silence and stillness within. It is ever present beneath the vibrational waves and turmoil. Underneath the perceived chaos there is stillness, inner peace and harmonious balance that is steadfast and never alters. Beneath the conscious waves there is a calm and tranquil sea. You are whole and complete. Your soul's light is entwined with the language of the universe. You are one with Source. All is one. As above, so it is below. Release the chaos and open to divine order as you awaken to the knowing that you are bountiful and limitless, at one with the stars. You are magnificent. That concludes the webinar. And I wanted to take us into a transmission of light meditation now. That's going to bring in codings that's right uniquely for you to assist you with divine order understanding and to release the keys within you of simplicity that bring harmonious balance, divine equilibrium. So closing your eyes and just be still and know as your breathing happens so very naturally. As you expand your lungs as you breathe in, exhaling naturally, and watching as your breath releases And as we bring in Metatron and source vibration and the love of Jesus and the knowledge of Thoth and the great masters that wish to be here with us today, as the light pours through, each unique soul expands more and more into light. Release the mind of conscious thoughts. Release competition. Release into the journey of simplicity. As you dissolve into light, expanding as one with the universe. Simplicity is key. We bring light codings now to assist in release and unburdening that which may cloud your journey. Releasing, rejuvenation into divine truth. As your heart expands, we bring in the love and light of the One. We bring in codings for harmonious balance and release. Release from entrapment and restraints in the conscious mind. You are eternal beings. Releasing out from the heart space. Holding of divine truth. Simplicity is key to mastering your ascension process. The light brings order. We bring codings to release anything that holds you back from achieving and believing and manifesting. May you dwell in the light of the One always, in the positivity of that light, in the divine order of that light. May it shine through your life. Be joyful. Trust. And be at peace within your soul. As that light emanates all truth to you from within. The vibration of love is key, as that is locked within your heart space for eternity. I wanted to thank you all for attending this evening. And perhaps look over the PowerPoints again. There's a lot that we covered this evening. Some of it might seem quite random, but if you look over it again, you'll begin a level of understanding of how people have interpreted order and light over thousands of years. And I'd like to finish this evening with the work of Jesus is very much linked to divine order. And all those years ago, the journey that we know of him and the experiences and vibrations we feel and have felt, that light is very much alive today, very much with us here and now through our discussion and connection. And that light will free mankind. So thank you for attending. And may your light ever shine, ever forward with positivity.
Tammy Myshak, thank you so much for this wonderful session. This is needed to be felt, to really be experienced, and we hope everyone enjoyed today's session. If you would like to continue with Metatronia Therapy, we invite you to a 6-hour online healing retreat. It's made into 3 parts, and you can listen on 3 different days as many times as you wish. That is in the special offer listed below. This is for anyone wanting to feel this and use it in their life. It's a wonderful program, and there's other options to work with it as a healer. Tammy, please share more on your special offer and this online healing retreat for Metatronia Therapy.
The results from that, Lauren, have been absolutely amazing, and I had reservations of, I'll only be honest with you, will this energy capture within a recording? And my goodness, the feedback from that has just moved people on to really feel the vibration of one, and then go on to do the, if they so wish, to do the active practitioner course, which means they then can go